Hello, everyone. This is the Marquis MDB, Michael Debar. You know, when I'm traveling from Milan to Minsk, I'm listening to Tom and Zeus on Shout It Out Loudcast.
Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. I like it.
The year 1985. The band Bon Jovi, and the album is 7800 Fahrenheit. Welcome to the 59th episode of the Album Review Crew, where we're going to review Bon Jovi's sophomore effort after we've reviewed their debut album a few years back. We're going to be joined shortly by our buddy and co-host of Potter Than Hell podcast, Steve Wright. But for now, Zeus, it's me and you. What's up?
Yeah, we're going to hit another Bon Jovi album. No, it's not Slippery When Wet in New Jersey.
There's so many huge albums by bands that we haven't. Oh, you guys did Rat? Yeah, we did Detonator. Oh, you guys did Metallica? Yeah, we did Load.
Oops. So now, chair number 2 will be ready in a minute. Yeah. Well, next month will be Patreon, and we'll get to that next month. But
God damn those you. By the time at the time of this recording, we still don't know what we're doing. I'm telling you, Patreon people.
Oh, good Lord.
Dear Lord.
So we are doing Bon Jovi this month, but last month we went back and we did Mother Love Bone's Apple. I'm sure we did a poll. So how'd that go?
Yep. So as always, we picked 4 songs from the album. Favorite song. The options were Crown of Thorns, Star Dog Champion, This Is Shangri-La, and Come Bite the Apple. 44% at Star Dog Champion, 36% at Crown of Thorns, 13% at This Is Shangri-La, and 7% for Come Bite the Apple. Dr. Love, 1984, said Star Dog Champion for me. I also enjoyed Stargazer. Wesley Ship says, I loved this episode. I actually own the Mother Love Bone box set that was brought up, yet that is incredibly rare, like ridiculously rare. Vet Halen says, I don't think I've heard Star Dog Champion in 30 years. When you mentioned Andrew Wood's Baby Honey Mama, I started hearing a lot of Zeppelin in most of the rest of the songs. I'm one of your, quote, not a grunge fan listeners, but this was an interesting listen. Oh, good. That's what we want. If we do some a little left of center, it's good to hear some people say some different things. Heavy Mayo chimes in with a photo from Weird Science and says, he won't stand for your baloney. Kendall Lacey, a magically brilliant album that not enough people know about. Yes, exactly, which is why I picked it. Our buddy John Gross. The feedback part of this episode was priceless. The best feedback I've heard for the album review crew. Look, I love that record, but man, some of these guys are way too much. He's referring to Wasp. And then he says, guys, this album was reissued in 1992, talking about Mother Love Bone. After Pearl Jam took off, I believe they reissued the Shine EP to the track listing. It's probably why it showed on the Heat Seekers chart in 1992. Stardog Champion was getting airplay then. Jason, don't call me Louis Rocco. Wow, nice choice. Fantastic record that I sometimes feel is overlooked. Greg Seacrest, great choice. I was in college when Grunge hit, but I didn't hear Mother Love Bone until Chloe Dancer Crown of Thorns on the single soundtrack. That song, and especially Stardog Champion, will always kick an obscene amount of ass. Our buddy Steve, he says, I have the 2 CD version with the 2 bonus tracks that are on disc 2. This is a good Twitter handle. All Walt Breaking Loose. I like that. I'm not a grunge fan, but I really like this. It reminds me of LA Guns and Tesla at times. His voice is amazing. Yes, it is. That's what we got in the world of Twitter this month.
Over on the Book of Face, the Taxman Anthony Barone says a great deep pick.
Yeah.
Bobby Kenner, hell yes. Glad to see an early grunge frontrunner to more grunge albums appear. Great memories of this album and those that followed from other legends.
Cool.
Darren Hunt, welp, I know what I'm listening to tonight. Absolute classic. Kevon Japson.
Uh-oh.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Oh, God. Never heard this, but I always wanted to. How it got past me, I have no clue. Great pick. Wow. Loved it. Now I have to go buy it. Stardog Champion is a banger.
Nice.
Jason Rocco said the CD got worn out by me. There's some fantastic music on this record that often gets overlooked.
Yep.
Brian Mayer says, I'm Captain High Top, the Love Commander. Michael Murphy says, stop. My penis can only get so erect.
Yeah, Michael Murphy's he's a big Pearl Jam fan, so I figured he'd like this one.
And he also jumped on Loudcasters. We're in there now.
Yep.
Michael Murphy added that always considered MLB the missing link between the 80s glam and the 90s alternative era. And much what we'd all like to see what Mother Love Bone became with Andrew Wood after this. I don't think they would have come remotely close to the success impact that was achieved following his death. Pearl Jam plays Crown of Thorns on occasion. I've been lucky enough to hear at a show where they played it. I think they just played it the other day. Actually, they played Hunger Strike.
Hunger Strike, yep.
Yeah, but it's a pipe dream of mine that the other day that they'll play Stardog Champion, which in case my soul would leave my body. Great pick as usual. Great episode.
Nice. Thank you. Cool.
Kevin Dorian, I am steeped in grunge. I love it and will never stop listening. Such an explosive, beautiful way to a short and way too short of a music era. I'm sure you've heard of the podcast Badsplain. I just listened to this on Spotify. Very interesting stuff in this segment. If you can stomach the girl's voice, just thought I'd share. And he shares the episode.
Okay, so hold on real quick. Bandsplain was one of my ARC rock hard things not long ago. And it's funny. One of the things that I said I loved is her voice. It's very unique and I loved it. But yeah, it's called Bandsplain. It's great. It's fun. You either love her voice or you don't. I think she's hot. But it's a good podcast. It's fun.
All right. Frank Anzalone, I'll end with him, says, couldn't tell you a single song that they played. I'm intrigued, though. It may have opened me up to something new. I like how you guys keep challenging us kiss-tards to expand our musical taste. Expand your mind, Craig.
Open up your mind, Craig.
Yeah. And there's one kind of silly comment here on YouTube, and it just says, I am amused. Fascinating.
Okay.
All right, over to you, buddy.
All right, let's wrap up here with a couple comments from Instagram. Joe Decker, our buddy. Great album. Would have never heard this if not for ARC. Great pick, Tom. All right. Flaming Skull Dude 88. I never listened to this before. Was pleasantly surprised to like it. See, that's the best. We love when people discover something new. So that's awesome. And that's going to wrap up feedback on Apple by Mother Love Bone.
All right, let's bring in our guest, and that is the great Steve Wright from Part of an L.
All right, so we're bringing in for the first time on Album Review Crew our longtime buddy and fellow podcaster, the king of Potter Than Hell, Steve Wright. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show for the first time.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. How are you guys? I'm doing good here. How are you guys?
We're I don't know. It's we're getting ready for to go in and out of love. I guess we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. You may be only lonely at the end of it.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Listen, I'm sure it's one of you guys is going to ruin Bon Jovi for me. Please, can we not have both of you do that for me, please?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, exactly.
I know where this is going. I know where this is going. So, Steve, we brought you in here. You've been on the show many times. We've been on your show recently, and you'll have episodes coming out soon for that. So this is pretty safe area of, we all know each other very well on and off the this podcast community. So I'm sure jabs will be thrown, insults and opinions will be made, and it'll be fun. Bon Jovi. That's why I picked you specifically. I had you in mind for this one, buddy.
Oh God.
You were going to find out if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
I like how Zeus is already in like the fetal position preparing for body blows right now.
Yeah, I know I'm going to get it from one of you. I don't know if I'm going to get it from both of you. So
okay.
Let's see how it works out.
Okay.
So what we usually do is we start off these episodes with how did we get into the album? and where they came in. So this is my pick this turn.
Mhm.
I think we've kind of gone away a little bit from the kind of main genre of this podcast, and that is the hard rock metal kind of music. And so I wanted to return to it, and this is deemed the hair metal stage of Bon Jovi. This was an album that I had when it came out. I wasn't at the point where I was looking at magazines, knew the date, and bought it. But Bon Jovi is a band that I got into. I've mentioned this before, and we've all had this kind of relationship with certain bands that's my band. I liked them before you liked them, before they got popular. I mean, certain people are protective of that. Like Metallica is a band that comes to mind and things like that before the masses took over. And Bon Jovi is the same for me. So I got most of the time when I describe music, I always say, oh, my brother or my cousins. This was a band that I heard first when we actually did Bon Jovi early in our first 10 episodes. I think we did a Bon Jovi, the debut album.
The debut album, yep.
Yeah, and I heard Runaway on Top 40, and I bought the album. And I had that album. I wore it out. 7800 Fahrenheit comes out. I go out. I buy that as well. And I loved it as well. It just continued the same kind of music that he was doing on the first album for me, so I enjoyed it. It was something that I played religiously. And in addition to that, he had just released also the VHS. Remember the Bon Jovi VHS? It had the 3 videos from this, the 2 videos from Bon Jovi, and they are fucking hilarious. But back then, I watched them religiously. And Jon Bon Jovi was always somebody when I was younger that I'm like, dude, that is the guy I would want to be in rock and roll. The ladies loved him. He looked cool. He wrote his own music. He did his own shit. And later on, when you know about his story and looking back over the years, I think he's someone to be admired. I love his personality. I love I love him as a person and as a musician and everything. I think he should be respected. I think he's just one of those good guys in music. There are a few of them, and he's one to be like that. This album is if you thought the first album was forgotten, this one is another one that they bury. He pulls a Paul Stanley on this album, and that he does not want to acknowledge it. He does not like it. He doesn't want to talk about it. But I think it's a disservice to most of his fans if you are in some of his fans group pages and websites and things like that, and you read, we love it as fans. He's the one who doesn't like it. So it's kind of tough. But 7800 Fahrenheit is an album that I was into since 1985. That's how long I've been into this album. So that's my foray into this 7800 Fahrenheit. Tom, want to go next?
Yeah, so we did the debut album early on at ARC, and kind of the same thing. I was never a fan of Bon Jovi. It's just it's like I don't know, like I guess you could say maybe a blind spot for me and for that, because every other band in that era I really liked. I liked the hits off of Slippery When Wet. That's the only album that I've ever owned. My sister actually had 7800 on vinyl, and I remember seeing it. And I'm like, we'll get to the cover eventually, and I remember hearing In and Out of Love. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of a badass song. Never heard up until you picked this album, I had never heard one other song from 7800 Fahrenheit until you picked this album. Never. Nope. I think I take that. I may have heard Tokyo Road. I may have heard Tokyo. That might have been Sakura. Yeah, we'll get to that. Please. Yeah, I just never got to me and in grade school and high school, like Bon Jovi to me was like, I'm sorry. I'll start off with my first apology right now, because I know Zeus loves Bon Jovi and I respect that there are bands I love that he hates, whatever. Bon Jovi was always like the band that like the girls liked. Mm-hmm. You know, like the guys were listening to like Def Leppard and Rat and Motley Crue, and the girls like, oh my God, I love Bon Jovi. But that's not why I didn't get into them. They just never did anything for me until Slippery When Wet. And Zeus mentioned, if Jon Bon Jovi doesn't like this album, the bass line is pretty bad. So coming out of the gate, I'm not a Bon Jovi fan. So other than the hits, Living on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive, whatever, I think In and Out of Love's good. We'll get to that. But yeah, I had never heard a single song off this album until Zeus picked it, and I've never owned it. So, Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I had this pretty much as soon as it came out because I had been a Bon Jovi fan since the first album because I saw them on their first tour. So, Tom, you would have absolutely loved this concert. I saw them open up for Scorpions.
Oh, God, please.
Yeah.
Jesus. If
that would have been awesome.
If there's a hell on earth, it'll be me going to that concert.
Yeah, so we saw them on their first tour and then, of course, had the first album. We saw the video for Runaway and stuff, and it was cool because it was we saw them in Philly. So it was kind of almost a home show for those guys because they're, from right across the river, New Jersey. And then when 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit came out, obviously bought that as soon as I'm sure I didn't get it the day it came out or probably even the week. But, when I saw it in the stores, picked it up. And, we'll get into how I feel about it and stuff. But I've been with them, since the beginning. Not so much now. I think they're more of a country band right now. And I don't really vibe with the stuff that they have. But that the documentary that they put out a couple months ago, one of my friends is a really good friend of his. And in the first, I think in the second episode, most of the black and white pictures that are in that episode are hers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I heard that documentary was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good. And actually he's been in our city and have had dinner over the years at their family owned restaurant over the years.
Wow.
And so like he's, a friend of a good friend, but I've and Zeus is totally correct. With his he just seems like a good guy. Yeah. He does a lot of charitable stuff, and you never heard about him being a dick to a fan or any shit like that. You've always heard good things about him that he's a good guy. He'd be a cool guy to have a beer with. Yeah,
no, I agree. He's buddies with Bill Belichick and
he's a big Patriots guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a likable dude. I mean that's which is kind of rare.
That stuff he does with that kitchen is just amazing. Amazing, that community kitchen where people come in, you just do some chore in there, and then you get a free meal. And he goes in there and he works sometimes. He does the dishes and shit. I mean, that's been going on for years.
Yeah, and the other thing that's good about that too, Zeus, is that he's not looking for a pat on the back. It's not about him.
No,
because a lot of people don't know that.
Oh no,
story.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's probably about half of what he does these days is like the philanthropy stuff in that kitchen. And he's got a couple. It wasn't his ideas. He just heard about it. Some other places were doing stuff like that, and he's like, "This is awesome."
Yeah,
and that's just the thing. So he's a guy I root for. But what we next do, we get into covers. I'm going to save my remarks for later, but why don't you start us off, Tom?
I mean, first of all, you have to look through everything through the lens that it's 1985. So you're kind of straddling that fence between early 80s hard rock and then getting into like obviously the synth and then like the glam and the hair metal. Like we're not 85 we're right getting ready to jump off the cliff. So this cover, I mean, 7,800 Fahrenheit. Ooh, it's the temperature that rock melts. Ooh, it's hot rock. Oh my God. And you get like his, the flames and like the lights are on his eyes. Like, ooh, baby, I want to burn with you. It's like, all right, we get it. Of the time, it's not bad. I'm just glad the back cover is not the front cover. But actually, I'll be honest with you, for 1985, I think the cover is kind of cool. It's kind of cool how his hair blends with like the flames on the cover, and you kind of can see his eyes. It's not bad. It's not bad. Steve, what do you think?
That's like the cover that if the Heat Miser had an album out, that would be the cover for that album.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool cover, although there's not really much rock melting metal on this album.
We'll get to that.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like you see one thing, you're expecting one thing, and you get another. But we'll decide whether that's good or bad as we go along. But it's it kind of seems like a cover and a name that like I don't know, like Anvil would have, or someone like that around then. And you're right, it was right at the time where all the more poppy stuff was coming in, and the power ballads were coming in. But also, it's at the time where bands like Metallica and Megadeth are hitting too. So, like, you know, you're looking at that album. Is it going to be this or is it going to be that?
Exactly.
And, you know, I mean, you pretty much know what you're going to get from the first album, but it's a cool name, but it seems like it would more suit a metal band than a if you want to call them a pop rock band or a hair metal band, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the back part where it looks like the cameraman was just taking the photos, and like it was gonna have Tico out of the photo, but he's just snuck into the last minute.
He's like photobombed the friggin' the group photo.
Like he looks like he wasn't supposed to be in the photo, and he snuck in. And even behind him, the keyboardist David Bryan, he's like completely blocked out when you even really see him.
God.
Yeah, the only one who's really prominent is Jon in the front and Richie. You know, the two good-looking ones.
Jon, I'm sorry. Jon looks like an absolute woman in that photo.
Which one, the front or the back?
I'm sorry, not Jon. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Richie Sambora. He looks like he almost looks like Susanna Hoff's sister. Like it's
poor Richie.
There's a lot of hair going on in this photo and fire in the back.
Jon is very, very proud of those bracelets.
Yeah, those are the Joey Casada bought at the rock store type of outfit wearing gear, right?
I know Joey Casada.
It's like going to Amazon and Google.
I can't wear my jeans until I put this bandana around him and look like a mall rock store shopper.
It's like you go on Amazon and search rock star clothing.
And the bad thing is everybody started copying this shit after that.
Exactly.
They honestly, because they're from the Northeast, if you see the earlier stuff, they were really kind of like jeans, and then they get the leather pants. They were following like the Bruce Springsteen look more so than what's going on in LA. As they got bigger and went into this second album, they started looking over to the West and be like, what are these guys wearing?
Yep.
Oh, it's that fucking pirate rock look.
Well, look at what Kiss was doing in 1985. It was worse than this.
I mean, this is kind of like what they were looking like. No one had an idea. They were shopping all at the same rock store.
Yeah, look, it's 1985. Asylum came out that year. Look at the shit they were wearing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Bon
Jovi actually looks good compared to Kiss in 1985.
But don't forget, this is before 85, before Asylum. Months before.
It is. Yeah, it's months before.
Right.
It's the beginning of the year versus the end.
Yep.
Anyways, that's the cover. All right, it's just a quick couple facts. 7800 Fahrenheit. It did come out March 27th, 1985. It's produced by somebody named Lance Quinn, who they do not talk about fondly in their history. I guess he used to do some Talking Heads fucking albums or something. I don't know. It's their second studio album. And as Tom said, it's the temperature that melts rock. Ooh. Okay. It went to number 37. Now, mind you, this is Bon Jovi pre-Slippery When Wet. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you put out an album and it went top 50 in the country,
it's pretty good.
I think that'd be pretty good. It went platinum, and there's really not much about it. It's literally the forgotten album in Bon Jovi's history. There have been many, many tours after the 90s that they don't play anything from this album.
Yeah.
They'll come back to once in a while, a couple tracks, Only Lonely, In and Out of Love, Silent Night, here and there, and Tokyo Road, but not much.
Yeah, Jon had a couple quotes. He said, Zeus had mentioned it earlier. He says, quote, "I always overlook the second album, always have, always will. We had no time to make it. We didn't know who we were. We did whatever the producer Lance Quinn said. He was a brilliant guitarist and made records with talking heads, so you listened. All of us were going through tough times on a personal level, and the strain told on the music we produced. It wasn't a pleasant experience. Lance Quinn wasn't the man for us, and that added to the feeling that we were going about it badly. None of us ever want to live in that mental state again. We've put that record behind us." Oof.
Yeah, he's an idiot. So It's funny because the first album is because he built fucking Runaway without a band. And then he quickly put the band together and just threw out something to come up with an album. And I fucking love it. And then this album, I fucking love it. And he fucking hates this shit. So I'm like, imagine when you do like this shit. But then again, you look at what he's saying he puts out now, and he's like, oh, this is the best I've ever. No, it's not.
It's the same. Like you said, it's the same thing that Paul does. He hates The Elder. He hates Phantom of the Park. And those are the two most, like, beloved, like, ugly stepchild of the Kiss world. You know, even if you don't love it, you like The Elder. You like Phantom. And you know, it's bands do that.
I see that. But Paul doesn't really praise them. But do you ever hear really Paul talk about the first couple of albums?
Oh, no.
Reverence?
In reverence?
This one didn't sell. Oh, so we put out another one. When does he ever say, yeah, you know, those songs were instrumental? They were
I think he talks about
foundation of early hard rock. And
yeah, but I think when he's talking about how they didn't sell, I think he's just giving his honest opinion because they didn't sell. I don't think he was shitting on the albums.
That's to the extent that he talks about the first couple of Kiss albums.
Okay, yeah, you don't hear any praise.
No, I don't hear anything. I never hear him talking about Two-Timer coming home or shit like that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And then when he gets older, and then Destroyer, listen to this, and then it's the same with the Bon Jovi. It's like because he knows those fucking Bruce Springsteen type Bon Jovi albums are what him and his fellow musicians will praise, not this Tokyo Road stuff.
Right. It's true.
So it's kind of tough as an early fan to hear him talk like this about these stuff. Say what you want. These are still Bon Jovi songs. I'm sorry. Did you write that? Same thing with Paul. I'm sorry. Did you write that song and think it was good enough to put on an album? Why are you shitting on it when I bought it?
I say the same thing. I hate when artists shit on it. I don't have a problem if they criticize it. If they say, that might have not been our best album, but, we put our heart and soul into it. But they'll be like, I disown it, pretend it never exists. I don't like that. I get
this part. If someone says, and they have a right to say this, they were fucking touring machines probably more than any other band since their debut and the end of the New Jersey tour. They were non-stop touring. So he can say, we didn't have much time to do this. I fit like 3 weeks and we banged out this album. We rushed it. Okay, I get that. Or if you're like Paul, you could say we didn't have the right production on it, because the early producers, we didn't know how to record in the studio as well. Those are good criticisms. But not the songs. You wrote those fucking songs.
Right. I agree.
And they had to, and that was what was out at the time. So, they're playing a lot of these songs because this is when they, kind of transitioned from, opening for bands like Scorpions and stuff like that to going, now, because I saw them on this tour. So they're playing, I saw them at a place called the Kingston Armory. So they're playing, like large theaters. They're playing like Armories, place like that, where they're having a headline set. So they're going to have to fill that set with these songs from this album. So, and to go back and shit all over them, these songs got you to the next step.
Exactly. Absolutely. And if you know the bigger connection there's a lot of Kiss connection with this in this era of Bon Jovi. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's Doc McGee that's managing them.
Yep.
And his big thing was like keep them on the road to get become a better band and a live performance.
Keep touring, keep making albums.
But he wanted them on tour nonstop, and he got that out of them, and they became a better band. You know what? They weren't playing covers. They were playing the songs off the first 2 albums to get that good. So I don't know what you're talking about because you won over crowds with this music and became a popular band. And it's funny because, even McGee was talking about it back then. It's like how good they got playing these songs. Fun, easy, melodic rock songs.
Mm-hmm. And it had to be good enough for people to buy the next record.
Yep, exactly.
And give them a chance.
That's right. Yeah, because when everybody bought Slippery When Wet, no one knew what it was. I mean, the people that waited for the videos and the singles to come out, but all those Bon Jovi fans that all they knew was the debut in 7800 Fahrenheit, they went and grabbed Slippery When Wet. Mm-hmm. So you're right. They created a level of fan base where they wanted more.
Yep. Exactly. It reminds me a little bit. There's another band that I love that is similar to this, and that's the Temptations, a band that had some minor hits. They were flinging around, and then all of a sudden, a songwriter comes in and goes, here's a song. It's called My Girl.
Yep.
And then that song, as soon as it went out, just pushed them to the top. Same thing here. They had some good stuff. They were doing good stuff. And then here comes Desmond Child with You Give Love a Bad Name, and then fucking skyrocket. But they didn't start with You Give Love a Bad Name.
Right.
And they started with these two foundation albums to build a base. And I think that's where they sometimes look back improperly and shit on these albums. But and let's take a quick break before we get to the tracks. Anyway, let's get to the aforementioned shit on albums, and that's 7 to 800 Fahrenheit, and they opened up with this song.
In and Out of Love. So even if you're not a Bon Jovi fan, you probably should know this song. Great opener. Ripping opener. And I think the thing that's really kind of unique to me about this song is that the song starts with the chorus. Like that's unique to no. Usually you wait and then you get to the chorus. We always say with Kiss and Paul Sling, bore us to the chorus. This starts with it. So right off the bat, great groove. Band sounds great. They sound hard. They sound tough. Now, again, I don't know anything from this album except In and Out of Love. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, these guys have learned a little bit from the first album that I personally didn't love. So, okay, now, because in my mind, I'm thinking 7,800 Fahrenheit is a few steps closer to where we are when we get to Slippery When Wet. And I love this song. It's great. Band sounds great. I will say this. I'm not a huge fan of Jon's voice. I don't think it's a very powerful, like, quote unquote, tough voice. I don't think it's a hard rock voice. And I think sometimes when he sings, I don't know. I just, it's not gritty. It's not like, I don't know. It's melodic, but it's not great. But this song right here, killer opener. This is a great track. Even if you do know nothing about Bon Jovi, In and Out of Love is awesome. Steve.
Yeah, I think, and not only does the song, they open the album with the chorus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And hear these, it's going to be melodic, vocally from the start. But then when those drums kick in and the song kicks in, I think you're like, okay, good start. Because think back to the debut. You had Runaway. It starts off with the friggin' keyboards,
the keys. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then it kicks up. So this one, you get it. You get a more rock and feel like right away, soon as it kicks in. And I've always liked this song. This is one that I wish that I saw them. I think the last I saw them was probably 10 years ago, and this was one I'm like, man, if they play something like this, it'd be fantastic. Of course they didn't, but
luck.
I'd be like, goddamn. But this would be one that I would love to see them bring back. And just think now with the way Bon Jovi is. Say, if you watch the documentary, it gets into the stuff with Richie and stuff like that. So say they come back and say, we're not going to play anything past New Jersey. People would lose their shit.
That would be a tour.
But you get a good taste of the band and where they're going on this one. Richie's soloing is fantastic in this one. You get the middle, the wolf whistles and stuff, hey, you want to get a ride on a bus? And so, the first album you're getting, they say you have your whole life to write your first album and, 6 months to write the second one. But you're getting a road song right off the bat on this one.
Yep.
And so it kind of gives you, thematically of kind of what you're going to get after you listen to the album.
All right. So In and Out of Love, it's written by Jon Bon Jovi. So he's, again, you're right back to him writing most of the tracks, or he's got credit on all tracks. It made it to number 69. It was the second single. It was number 37.
You said 69.
Fair enough. 37 top rock tracks. It went to, so it opens up with 4 a cappella In and Out of Love fucking times.
But I like it fades in kind of.
And then 2 more.
Yep.
And then you get the verses. So you hear the chorus 6 times already. So they're going to pound you with this chorus, if anything. I think the chorus works. It's very Paul Stanley. John said he wrote it while he was watching MTV Top 20 Video Countdown, which means he can bang these out fucking all day like Paul, if he really wanted to. And another one of the fucking rock cliches, and he is almost the king of this. When me and my boys hit the streets. Oh
God.
no.
First of all,
no.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is not the first time that bad boy Jon Bon Jovi talks about the streets.
Oh, he is, I think, the king of that. Him and the Scorpions love to be bad boys in the streets and wild and what the
wild
fuck?
In the streets, bad boys running, fucking relax.
Oh God. The breakdown before the chorus, you mentioned a little bit, Steve. Bring your girlfriend, bring your mom. Oh, I thought it was so funny back then when I was 13 years old listening to this shit. And then the fun solo back to the chorus, and I like the build up. And then Tico hits the drums, and then boom, right back to the main chorus. I love it. And then he does the typical rock stuff that I am sure he is as cringing as much as Paul Stanley is cringing about some of his shit he did in the 80s. The whole "your daddy is who." Hey, just how old are you anyway?
I'm glad you brought that up.
No.
You know what it is? It reminds me of the Slaughter song. Oh, you left your wallet at home? You got a headache? Oh, God.
Your daddy is who? Just how old are you anyway? Oh, no. Meaning she's not legal, and you're joking about it on your album.
Yep.
I guarantee you he's like Paul when he watches Animalized live.
Cringing for his life.
Oh, my God. What are my friends going to say?
Yep.
Let's go to my fucking. If you thought the videos and the debut album were bad, what the fuck is this thing? This thing is 80s cheese to a fucking max. It's got between like a footage of them on the boardwalk. They're probably in Jersey boardwalk.
Yeah.
Just the whole, all of them are back to the wall, and then they jump, and they all jump and turn around forwards and face the crowd.
Who sent out
so cheesy?
Who sent out the memo that a sailor hat was a cool thing for a lead singer? Paul did it. John did it.
You mean the Rob Halford fucking helmet that he wears out in the long coat on the beach?
That outfit with the trench coat and the sailor hat, you should fucking jump into the ocean with that.
I'm sure the purple fucking tank top didn't help either. And he's in the concert part. If you notice, he's wearing Paul Stanley Animalized pants.
Oh, I saw them.
Remember, he fucking toured with them on that shit. Yep. Where do you think he got that look from? I definitely think he stole that from Paul.
Ugh.
Yeah, that video. And then there's got Richie Sambora, if you look at it. His leather pants are pulled up so high like a 70-year-old. It's horrible. It's just, who dressed him for this video? It's fucking, and then the bassist is like slapping the bass, and he's got his his arm is so bent, like his hand slapping the bass. And then you got the boardwalk video. Like they're walking up and down. They pull into the parking lot crooked. Don't park right. They get out, and that's when you see Bon Jovi in the trench coat and the Rob Halford hat.
Oh, it's so bad.
Don't you wear that shit when you go to the boardwalk?
It's just so
I think
bad.
Richie's got a fucking white overall suit on, pants on, right?
John should be disowning this video if he's disowning anything.
It's just, and then it's almost like is this part of a movie? Then you got the Joey Buttafuoco guy goes, all right, boys, 24 hours.
Yeah,
I like the part where they're sitting there, they're all hiding by the newspapers.
Oh yeah,
the little Three Stooges move.
Yeah, but. Is that like Father Guido Sarducci that walks by?
Steve, yes.
With the 7,800 Fahrenheit?
Holy shit.
That's exactly it. I go, that's Guido Sarducci. Holy shit, yes.
How about, and by the way, while they're walking on the boardwalk, people are coming up to them. They're like, oh, high five.
Yeah, what's up? You guys are so cool. Nice hat, nerd.
So just about the part where you just mentioned when they're on the fucking chair or the fucking boardwalk seat hiding with the newspapers. why are there just as many guys chasing for them as the girls are?
Okay, I didn't want to bring this up. But
what straight guys are chasing?
There is
down the boardwalk.
There is a lot of homoeroticism in this video because these guys are really excited to touch Bon Jovi.
A little too excited.
Yes, exactly. I mean, hey, not that there's anything wrong with this.
They're like slapping fives with guys, and the guys in it, like you said, are wearing like the shortest of shorts that would make like Bird and Magic blush of that era. They are so fucking tight, their balls are hanging out. And they're like walking by the boardwalk and like,
yeah, you guys are awesome.
Fucking yeah, let's rock out tonight. Yeah.
Dude, I saw Bon Jovi on the boardwalk today. I got to touch him. I'll never wash that hand again.
God. Exactly. Just the guys chasing him, and then there's like a cut scene for every one of the members.
Yeah.
So Alec is on a car driving, and he's on the hood with some chick, and somebody stops him on a skateboard or something, like high-fiving him on the car. Yeah, you are fucking crazy, dude. Just fucking stupid shit. And then Richie's on a beach, like playing guitar, and then kicking sand at people.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Jon is against the wall, and his fucking jeans are just fucking pressing his hickory nuts.
Dude, the hickory nuts were bad in the first. Yeah, the hickory nuts were bad on the debut album. I mean, he neutered himself with these jeans.
And these jeans up against the wall when he's shooting with the water pistol at people going by, and he's got the fucking tank top, purple tank top, the tight ass hickory nuts jeans.
God, so bad.
And he's got sunglasses on in the trench coat.
Oh.
And then he like puts the gun to his head because he sees a hot chick walking by.
Brutal.
Maybe after he sees the video, he gets the real gun out.
And then the last cut scene is the fucking the keyboard guy walking with a handful of hot dogs, and he just drops them to light the girl's cigarette.
Yes, just what are we doing?
And the drummer's on a pool, on a fucking floaty in the middle of the pool, dressed up.
And the girl swims underneath them.
Yeah.
Just, and then at the end, I assume that's what their manager's saying. Okay, you have 24 hours. They show a plane and they show him kind of touring in Japan or something. I don't know. Like
if at the beginning the plane lands and then it's taken off at the end.
Yeah.
So,
but a lot of that stuff is filmed in London because they're on the bus, and you can see the double-decker bus behind them. And like right in the beginning, you can see like Big Ben.
Maybe that's they're showing a lot of the tour, but that was definitely on the boardwalk.
Oh, that was Jersey.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, they go from like they're in London, and then like we're
they
back
never
in
stopped touring all that time. But I know we'll probably end up mentioning the documentary a lot, and even in the documentary, Bon Jovi's just like at a certain point in time. I think he was talking about when he got to Slippery and Wet. Enough of these stupid fucking videos. We're just gonna do like concert videos. This shit is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
people tell us, "Oh yeah, this is what you band rockers like to do: dress up like this and do this." Yeah, I mean that video is just horrendous.
Ugh.
All right, let's go to track 2.
The Price of Love. Okay, so again, I'd never heard anything on this album, so. Right off the bat, I'm like, oh no. In and Out of Love is going to be not what this album is. I'm like, no. And then all of a sudden I hear this. I'm like, this reminds me. First of all, almost every song on this album should either be in an 80s TV commercial or an 80s like action movie or an 80s like teen romance movie. This song right here reminds me of the scene in Footloose when Kevin Bacon is doing his angry gymnastics. He's just like, oh, I'm so angry, I'm going to do gymnastics. Like, and the chorus, like, I'm like, oh, man, what happened to the band on In and Out of Love? Where is that band? Because now this is not the same band. To me, this is just, I just wrote in my notes, I'm like, here comes the cheese with this song here.
Yeah, for I don't mind this song, Tom. It gives you a little glimpse of what's coming up.
Yeah.
And the thing for me on this album is the production's a little. I don't know if it's. I don't even know how to describe it. Like the guitars have like a crunch to them, but like the keyboards add a little more wimpiness to it, I think, is in some of these songs. But like I'd like that Richie is able to get some good solos in on this album. And it shows he's a really good mix of melodic soloing and then like shredding. And I think it fits very well because I remember, and I know another band of yours, a favorite of yours is Motorhead, but Fast Eddie Clark, when they talked to him about solos, they said the middle of the solo doesn't matter. He said you need to start out the solo really good and you need to end the solo really good. And I think Richie Sambora really does that really well. Yeah, no, he's good. I agree. Yeah. And I don't mind this song. The chorus is very singable, but like, and like. You know, I was talking about it on Hotter Than Hell about when you guys did the Wasp thing, and Zeus was kind of kneeling me a little bit about the Wasp album. But you look at it from, you know, you were just listening to this album now for the first time under, you know, a guy in his 50s listening to this stuff. But like when I hear this album, I'm thinking of what it was like when I got it. Great point. And, no, it's absolutely true. I was a junior in high school when this album came out. Yep. And you know, this was, you know, what was out there. I mean, and I was listening to, you know, all other stuff, Iron Maiden and Kiss and everything, and Judas Priest at that time. But it was different. These guys were more melodic because like Rat was out by then, and like you guys said, like Dokken and everything like that. And I think these guys were just in between that stuff. And I still I'm digging it so far. I don't mind this song. You did real quick. You brought up a good point. We have talked about this on ARC before. Certain albums where maybe an album that I picked that I've loved since I was 20 and Zeus have never heard it before. Yeah, I agree. It's a great point. It's a totally different set of ears. You know, I'm 51 years old listening to an album that's 40 years old for the very first time. But that being said, whether I like the band or not, I go into all of these ARC albums with a completely open mind. You know, and I let the album kind of wash over me until we hit record. So yeah, Zeus, go ahead.
Price of Love, written by Jon Bon Jovi. I like the build-up. I like the nice guitar riff. Either you like this music or you don't. Me, I think, Steve, you're in the same kind of place as I am. This melodic rock works. I can listen to this shit all day long. The choruses, the backing vocals with John's melodies. I think it's just right in the zone that I want. I like the vocals, the backing vocals versus John. There is a lot of early High and Dry, Def Leppard chorus vocals, back to the backing vocals, the band singing back, call and answer shit throughout this album. And they do that in these two first Bon Jovi albums, kind of reminds me of the first couple of they're not as hard. Same thing with the Def Leppard melodic rock stuff in their first couple of albums before they got really poppy into their last couple in the late 80s. This song to me is got a nice bridge, the vocals to another awesome solo. I love Richie's solos, and you're exactly right, Steve. You got the melodic. There's just the notes that he plays. It's not how fast, it's what moves you. And I love the way he does that. The guitar solo on this is just fantastic. The outro and the solo and the vocals work for me. Either this works for you or it doesn't. If this doesn't work for you, you're going to have a fucking long time listening to the rest of this album. This is just picture Bon Jovi debut, Bon Jovi 7800 Fahrenheit. These melodic rock songs are all the way through. And like it or not, for me, I don't care if I heard this when I was 13. I still like it. Do I go to it as much as I would certain songs? No. But I mean, this is one of the better tracks on this album. For me.
I love melodic rock. It's pretty much all we listen to. But the combination of John's vocals that I don't really dig, and the combination of the production and then the keys are great when they're used. I mean, I was in a minority. I liked the Europe album, if you can believe that. You know, I like Crazy Nights, but I feel some of these albums, we haven't even gotten to the really bad use of the keys. But anyways, we'll see. It's only the second.
Yeah, there's certain people that I know you don't like. I don't understand it. So you don't like Bon Jovi's voice. You don't like fucking Scorpion's voice. You don't like Graham Bonnet voice. But yet there are other bands
I didn't say I didn't like Graham Bonnet's voice. I just don't like that album.
Listen to the Rainbow Down to Earth, and you were right there with Sonny.
Because the songs are terrible. His voice is good. That's bad songs. His voice
that's not what you were saying. You were talking about the voice too, but that's okay. But then that's what these things are for. They're all opinions, and then you'll listen to shit that I'm like. I'll say the same thing. Like I can't listen to this fucking any longer. I can't stand his voice.
Right,
but. To me, those are three great singers. So, I mean, is Bon Jovi hitting fucking notes like, I don't know, who's the fucking guy from Steelheart? No, but he's still got a good voice.
But he doesn't need to hit notes to be good. I don't like his tone. I think he's like trying to be, I don't know. He's just not doing it for me. Like he's not putting forth the image that's behind the music and the lyrics. It just doesn't fit for me. But that's just me.
I don't understand that though. What do you mean the image?
It's a hard rock band. The lyrics are like, like the lyrics are like, we've only been to the second song, but when he talks about like the streets and this and that, it just I don't believe what he's singing because I don't think the tone of his voice is conveying what he's trying to convey. That's me.
The more hard rock albums that were popular in mainstream rock back then are Quiet Riot, Def Leppard, and bands like that. The other ones that we're talking about, Metallica came out. Metallica was not even a fucking blip on the screen for people to copy them in 85. They were a new band and new sound, but nobody was like, let's jump on this type of sound. Like the bigger bands were more pop rock, Quiet Riots, Def Leppards and stuff. So this was
Kevin Dubrow and Joe Elliott. They got fucking killer voices, those two guys. Jon Bon Jovi does not.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that, but that's fine.
That's why we do this show.
But to not like him, fucking Scorpions as well, I don't get it. But that's all right.
It's okay.
All right, let's go to track 3.
Only Lonely. Okay, good song here. I like this. They've rebounded for me. The keyboards, I think they're being used nicely here. Bon Jovi sounds good. The chorus is good here. It's funny as I'm listening to this, I'm like, the beat, the tempo of the song. This is Eye of the Tiger. Like when they get to the verses, it's like dun, 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 like that little. The verses sound just like something from a movie. Which when we talk about the video, we'll get to that. But yeah, this song is for me, it's better than Price of Love. I like this tempo. And I think John sounds good here. I think the band sounds good. Keyboards are being used, but I don't think they're drowning the song out. So yeah, I like that. This is a good song.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Do you guys consider this a ballad? I don't know. It's like musically during the verses, it doesn't seem like one, but then the chorus
maybe one of those like mid-tempo ballad,
mid-tempo ballad type of song.
Yeah.
I think John's vocals are good. I love the chug during the verses. And one thing that I after listening to this album, I thought that they did pretty well was that and a lot of the songs they'll have a short bridge between this, like right before the solo starts.
Yeah.
And I think that this one has a really good one for that one. And like there's no kind of preamble to this solo. Like he just starts soloing, and I think it's really cool. I love the ride cymbal.
Yes, I love that.
During the solo, it's just like so prominent. I think the production on that aspect of it is
I'm
really
so glad
good.
you brought that up because the ride cymbal always adds something to it, either during the chorus or during a solo. It always sounds great.
Yep. Yeah, and Tico does it great. And one problem I have too, and it's a thing for a lot of albums of this time is like everything fades out. Like every goddamn song fades out, whether it's a chorus that goes on forever and ever. And you get, in this one, you get the solo. If he fades out while he's soloing, which, I would rather that than a chorus that goes on forever. But like, just like, you're going to be playing a lot of these songs live. Like just do it how you would do it live.
Right.
I don't get it. Do they not have time for it or say, fuck it, and we'll do it later, figure it out later? I don't know, but that's like a pet peeve of mine. Songs
good point.
fading out. And some songs have good fade outs. Like if it fades out like on like a feedback note or something like that, that's kind of stuff is cool. Or like even I like the fade out on Black Diamond on the first Kiss album because it's different. It's not your average fade out singing or soloing. Yeah. But that's kind of my only problem with this song. But I like this one too.
All right, so Only Lonely, Jon Bon Jovi, and the fucking keyboardist David Bryan gets a writing credit. So this went to number 54 on Billboard, number 28 on Mainstream Rock Tracks. It's the first actual single, and it was actually in that Michael J. Fox Joan Jett movie Light of Day, which is terrible. Keyboards, guitar riff, pretty cool, very melodic, and I love the pre-chorus. Leave it all behind you, and someday love will find you. It just goes to me for John. If you compare when you think of hair metal, like you think Poison, Warrant, Bon Jovi, Rat, Crew, and stuff, his lyrics, his writing style is nothing like the rest of these guys. He tells stories, and there's nothing really that we're like mocking a la Poison.
No,
fucking
you're right. He
Jimmy's Barroom shit.
Yeah, he tells stories.
It's just a step different, and it's not brilliant shit that you're like, oh my god, he's Bob Dylan of that. No, but the one thing you're not going to critique is his lyrics. Mm-hmm. To me, this is no different. Like all these songs so far, the first three songs are all very easily like identifiable to me as Bon Jovi first couple albums. Simple, melodic rock songs, good solo, good, decent lyrics, nice performance. There is no, you might not think any of these are slippery when wet type of anthems, but to me, they're all decent songs. And they're very similar. There's nothing that's going to blow your mind away from this stuff. Except, though, I do really like Richie's solos. I think there's a lot of melody in there. And he does a good job on it. This one's a really good one. And I love how John builds up his songs. Hence, that's why they blow up to a different stratosphere when you add even Desmond into the mix. Because John is decent on his own. And you put those two together, similar to Paul and Desmond, that it fucking works. It's not Desmond doing all the work.
Yeah, you get the big giant stadium choruses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fucking Trash by Alice Cooper, where it's Desmond Child, like, polishing turds. This is two guys working together in buildings. Well, I shouldn't say two. I'm sure I'm cutting Richie short. When they get the slippery, it's the three of them. Anyways, I like the song. It's catchy. It's got a good chorus. It's a typical early Bon Jovi song. If thought the video for In and Out of Love was bad.
Just what are we doing, people?
John Oates in a fucking axe blood, fucking smashing a car. What is this video about? I don't understand.
But it's fun. Are they a gang? Are they a gang now?
Man, you sold us out. Oh, okay. Dude, if you're getting pushed up against the wall by Jon Bon Jovi, you are not what we would call a masculine man.
I'm telling you, when I saw this video, I told you when I heard the song, I'm like, this sounds like something that would be like a movie thing. And then I saw the video, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they did
I think
too.
It's supposed to be based on Light of Day. Whatever that fucking Michael J. Fox is.
Oh, the Michael J. Fox. I don't know. I never saw that.
I don't remember that movie. I just remember it was fucking terrible. I tried watching it once, and I just couldn't deal with it. I think it's something like that. The band is getting screwed over, and then there's some fucking Sam Elliott guy in a limo that pulls up. I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
They're trying to it's a typical 80s video. They're trying to tell a story. It's just a theatrical video that's not good.
And that fucking Brian Johnson hat that he's wearing incorrectly is horrendous.
It's so bad.
By the way, that chick looks like the chick from Weird Science, the brunette.
Oh yeah, Judy Aronson. Yeah, the chick from the girl. Yeah, the girlfriend. One of the girlfriends. Yeah,
she looks like that girl. Yeah. I have no idea what the fuck is going on in this video. They're getting screwed over by somebody or something. Then the cops come in and even the fucking keyboard guy is throwing the John Oates guy against the wall. And then the video just ends like them playing music. Like, what?
And the one part that just I was like laughing my ass off. I watched it again today when they show the little performance parts of the video.
Yeah.
And John, the bass player, comes up and he's shakes the shoulders when he comes up to the microphone for the chorus. I'm like, oh my God, like the shoulders are like, I'm like, oh.
He has a speaking role in that video. I think he says something like, man, they're not nice people.
They're not nice people. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
What is going on in this video? I have no idea. It's just fucking brutal. Anyway, let's go to the opening of Asylum.
King of the Mountain. So this is kind of what I was talking about. So first of all, my notes, word for word on my notes right here. Settle the fuck down. Your voice is too girly for a song like this. This is what I was talking about, the lyrics. Listen, people, can't you hear the voices that are crying out? There's a hunger burning in the heart of their souls. You need to fucking relax, John. Just... And the whole just the stomping like dun, 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 dun. I'm like
King of the Mountain.
It's just not. It's
King of the Hill.
It's just not good. It's just not good. I'm sorry. I can't listen to this. I'm sorry, Steve.
Yeah, this one kind of takes a little dive for me here. It's. Are they trying to be metal on this one? I don't know. It's got like that stomp feel to it. I do like, and you're right about John's vocals. They're a little like not this type of song, but I do like the cadence of how he sings it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Not the tone of it, but how he sings it. But I do like the oh no's, like the back and forth with that. I think it's okay.
That's cool. I
do like that part. And I think the solo
call and answer shit that they do throughout these albums.
Yeah. But like the solo in this one is like, it's almost like George Lynch-ish, very whammy bar and dive bomby in there. I do love that part of it, but I was going to
say, is that a good thing though? I want to know what your opinion. Do you like that stuff?
I do. Okay, I do.
Good.
I think, and I think it fits the song. I do. I'm not a huge fan of the song, but I think that for me, the oh no's, the back and forth thing, and the solo is like makes it not a skipper for me.
Funny you say that. So, King of the Mountain, written by Jon Bon Jovi, and Richie Sambora gets a writing credit now. So that's the first one that he, I believe, gets credit on. I looked this up. Kiss Asylum released September 16th, 85. This released March 27th, 85. Although this sounds more like Get All You Can Take than King of the Mountain, which was on the previous album.
Yep.
The open bass line, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch. And then you have the guitar riff that comes in. And the pre-chorus, I had the exact same thing as you, Steve. Oh, no, I've been down and mistreated. That part is the great. It's the call and answer shit that reminds me of early Def Leppard stuff, which the band and him can play off each other because it works because he doesn't have Mutt Lange as their producer, but because Richie and him vocally are so in sync and their voices work great with each other that's why this stuff works. So I put in here, this is probably what you would consider filler, but I would consider this not bad filler. Same with you, Steve, where I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I get what they're doing. They probably like, all right, let's throw this track in here. But to me, it's not like, oh, God, fucking move this along. And I don't care where you are or how you are. If you hear this song a few times, you are saying that fucking chorus. King of the Mountain. Dun, dun, King of the Hill. It's just early Bon Jovi, still trying to probably figure out where they stand. And again, in 85, when they're playing this type of music, they're too hard to be considered like a pop band. Way too hard. They were called heavy metal, for Christ's sakes.
Who called them that?
People, all sorts of. Watch any documentary. Everybody was calling that heavy metal. Bon Jovi is considered heavy metal. Rat is heavy metal. Dawkins is heavy metal. They're all considered heavy metal. It's not realistic. It's not It's not the right terminology. It's similar to Kiss being called hair metal or Scorpions and shit like that. It's not right. because you can't call them heavy metal and then call, and what the fuck is Metallica then?
Right.
Triple heavy metal? Like,
Right.
it's stupid,
Right.
But I don't know. I still think they're kind of probably trying to figure out. They're torn with Scorpions. They're torn.
They're definitely confused. They're definitely confused.
They're probably, that type of audience. They want to get a chorus kind of rock thing going, and there you go. Anyway, let's move to the last song on side one.
Silent Night. Okay. I was at the gym at work. I put this album on. This song came on. It literally like stopped me I'm like, this is a real song that they put on this album. No wonder he disowns this album. And all I'm sitting there in the back of my head is going, my God, Zeus can't stand Shandy, but I guarantee he likes Silent Night from Bon Jovi. This keyboard riff is like a virus. By the time the song's over, you just can't get this is so bad. I know what he was trying to do. I get it. I know what he was trying to do. It was 1985. I'll give him a break. It was that era of, the syrupy, ballady type of love song. But this is, to me, just a fail. I mean, there are some beautiful and kick-ass ballads from that era. I can't believe this is Bon Jovi when I heard this. This is just not good.
I'm in between on this one. I don't like the tone of that.
You know what that is, right?
No.
You guys haven't picked it up yet?
No.
Come on, think about that era. You don't know what that.
No,
you know what? Got released January 28th, 1985.
No.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh,
that
God.
Theme.
Oh.
Think of that theme and then think of that chorus.
Yeah. True.
That thing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. They played this live when I saw them on this tour.
What?
And it was like, get your cigarette lighters out. Like the whole place was like, it's all right. But once again, I think Richie saves the song for me. That whammy bar, that solo he plays, I think is great, because I think that it totally fits of the song. But it's not a favorite, but I don't mind it. I like the pre-chorus in it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm kind of in between on this one. It's not a skipper, but Richie saves it for me again.
After the smoke clears,
it is down to you and I.
So Silent Night, Jon Bon Jovi, it made it to Rock Tracks number 24. It was their final single. Oh, absolutely. People love this. This was their ballad for their first couple albums. I'm not a fan of this song. I never was.
Thank you.
I think the keyboard riff takes away, because when it goes away in the background, the rest of the song works. John can sing.
I'll give you that.
I think it works.
It's not good to lead off with.
Listen, a lot of the Bon Jovi songs have eventually become fucking big songs. I'm not a big fan of it. We'll probably get to these albums at some point. Living in Sin, Always, Bed of Roses. Huge fucking ballad hits for him. They don't work for me. I'll Be There For You, Never Say Goodbye. Okay, I'll take those.
You're right.
But this one doesn't work. I mean,
this
doesn't mean
the keyboard riff. The problem with the keyboard riff is that it almost sounds like it's like electronic. Like it's not, instead of like a keyboard riff, it's like dun dun.
No,
dun,
it's a synth riff. It's like synth riff.
But that's what I mean, and it kind of fades out. Like it creates a weird vibe to the song that really sucks the air out.
But when it's out and you hear a little of the acoustic and stuff, and especially with Richie's solo, which is really melodic. And
I'll give you that.
There's a lot of whammy on that too, as you were saying, Steve.
I think that this song suffers the most from the album production.
Yeah, good. That's
which is the producer doesn't sit there and go, "Wait a minute, there's too much of that. Let's tone that shit down."
Yes,
or you don't need to hit that riff.
A poor choice, and the tone of it too. If you put the keyboard tone from something from Slippery When Wet on this song, and it's a totally different song. But I think that the production is the main culprit on this one for me, anyways.
Yeah.
He's got a good line in the song that I really like, that I held up in love without a gun. He loves to do this analogy of love with certain things. But, I'm just not a fan of the big synth keys in that, but I am a fan of his solo. So it's kind of a hit and miss for me on this. But it was always like a popular song. And even when I had the VHS video, I'll be honest with you, I never watched this video. I would skip it because I didn't like the song very much.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it was their ballad. Like everyone had their ballad. This was theirs. Thank God they lost it after.
Yep.
All right, a video. Just a couple in a fucking square room.
Yeah, it's
There's
weird.
a video screen of the band playing.
Yeah.
And then, they all become flat screens. They turn into brick walls. There's stuff about their previous relationship, and they're fighting in the middle of the room, and fucking
Plus, I also think it's ballsy to name a ballad Silent Night. I mean, that's a song title that you really shouldn't be just touching at all. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, that's a song title that you really shouldn't be messing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty tough for them to get around. Steve, anything about the video?
It's just, I don't know. It's a bad time for videos for this type of stuff.
It is.
I'm glad they got away from this shit. And I don't know. I got nothing.
That's okay.
Really?
Settle down, Richie, with the double neck guitar.
I do like that. That's like the best part of the video.
Those guys, they love those things.
I know. But
there's a nice spooky. There's a spooky shot of New York skyline in the Twin Towers.
Oh, I know. I remember. Yeah, I noticed that too. That is kind of jarring every time you see that. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Sakura. Go ahead.
Tokyo Road. Once you get past the ridiculous intro, that's way too long. So it's one thing if you're going to do this intro, but to have it go almost 50 seconds or whatever, give me a break.
What did it remind you of?
Radioactive.
No, Revenge of the Nerds and Takashi's bicycle dance.
Oh, God. Yeah, just. But anyways, you get past the intro. You get past the intro. Great fucking song. But I had got my notes right here. This band is confused. These are the songs they need to do. There is a band trapped inside of this album, and they're trying to get out. They get out on Slippery When Wet in New Jersey. This song is fucking awesome. It's got an incredible big arena sing-along chorus. Again, Steve, Tico with that ride cymbal during the chorus. Fucking awesome. Great groove, awesome chorus. John sounds great. There's no keyboards that are drowning out the groove of the song. This is what I mean. This band, I thought the Confusion, they kind of would have outgrown that past the debut album, because I kind of said the same thing, because there were songs like Roulette and Runaway, and I'm like, oh, this band's, but then there's songs that I wasn't crazy about. Tokyo Road is like a breath of fresh air, especially after Silent Night. This is a killer tune for me. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, you're back to, you open the album with In and Out of Love, Road Song. You open up side 2,
Yep.
Tokyo Road, literally a road song.
Yeah, exactly.
This one I've always loved this track. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And, you mentioned the ride cymbal on this one, but it's fun. This is like the one step behind You Give Love a Bad Name.
Steve, that's a great point. I don't mean to interrupt you real quick. That's what a lot of this album is missing, is fun. A lot of these songs are way too serious, and you can hear it in John's voice in Tokyo Road. This is like an anthem. Him and the band are like celebrate. Like it's the Bon Jovi. It's like You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer. It's a fun song.
Yeah, and I prefer fun Bon Jovi, truthfully.
Yeah.
Than even the ballad. I mean, they do have some good ballads and stuff. But this song is just fantastic. Killer Richie solo in it. And, the beginning is like, whatever, it is what it is. But this is one song that kind of feels, production wise, feels like an outlier. Because once you get into the second verse, there's some really cool headphone back and forth going on with the guitars there that I think is cool, that you don't get anywhere else on the album, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, for me, an outlier production wise, but it's a fun song. And this, like you said, especially after Silent Night, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And then you get this, and I remember listening to this the first time, Silent Night, and I'm like, okay. And then the intro comes on. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing now? What is this going to be?
It's true.
And then when it kicks on, I'm like, oh, thank God they're back to that stuff, So it was, it's like kind of like they put you to sleep, and then they wanted to keep you there, and then just like throw a bucket of water on you to wake you up for the second side.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. So Tokyo Road, written by Jon and Richie. It seems to be, there's always that John's got to do for every, fun, come back, get ready. He's got to throw in love lies. Same thing here. Yep. As much as you in and out of Tokyo Road, he's got to throw in Silent Night. He's got to throw the heart, the hardest part, the price of love, only the lonely, something about heartache and love. And that's all he really wrote about in his first 4 albums is that stuff. And then he thought he was fucking Bruce Springsteen and started doing other shit. It's that balance that like he's fighting to do fun songs and serious songs as a songwriter. But this song I put on a Hotter Than Hell song episode. Remember when we had, I forget what it was all about, but we had to pick like tracks or deep cuts from bands that people might not know. So did I pick Bon Jovi 7800 Fahrenheit because it's one of my top 20 albums of all time? Mind you, we haven't picked all our albums, obviously. No, it's because it's got certain things that I find interesting that I want to talk about. This, to me, is a song that people would hear and be like, holy shit, where did this one come from? Like, it kicks ass. It's about as fucking good as melodic, hard rock, guitar-driven songs. It's not metal, but it's fucking rocks.
Yep.
And I think Richie is just so underrated as a guitar player.
Agreed.
And this is one of the reasons why I love his stuff. That whole stupid Sakura shit.
Oh, geez.
And then he goes into that awesome guitar.
Awesome. It's awesome.
And then Jon just does his thing, and he also, I'm wondering, because he's never been a big drug guy. He always talks about it. Some of the band members were, but himself, he was never a big like druggie. But he has the line in this, and I think he's trying to do the analogy, the wink, wink, snorting whiskey, drinking
Coke. Yep.
So I obviously on my mind goes to he's trying to do it backwards. He's hiding it that they were snorting Coke and drinking whiskey.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the whole Nirvana. We can plant a house. We can build a tree. Yep. Everything is backwards. Mm-hmm. But the solo kicks ass, and I like the bridge into the spoken word storytelling. That works. And then he builds it up, and then take it back. And boom, and the chorus comes in big. And then there's like a fucking, almost like the Kickstart My Heart, where it's almost like a motor. And the guitar goes, like it starts up, and he goes right back into the more riffs, and Jon goes nuts. I fucking love it. I just think the song works, and it's a big, deep cut surprise for a lot of people, and I hope they listen to it and enjoy it. But the thing is, too, I always thought the lyrics were about them touring Tokyo and finding it. Read the lyrics. It almost sounds like, is this about a military guy in World War II?
That's what it sounds like.
And he's on a holiday, and then he fucking loses his virginity in the second part. They send him to a place in a war, in a place that people forgot. Like,
it's kind of hard to figure out what he's talking about.
Which one he's talking about. But anyway, I love this song. I always love this song. I think it's a great deep cut. And let's go to the next track.
The hardest part is the night. So this is exactly what I'm talking about here. Stop with these songs. Stop with these songs. In the heat of the street of the city. Like, not Jon Bon Jovi. This is not your lane. Your lane is Tokyo Road. And this is what I guess this is kind of the point. It kind of just dawned on me during the last song. When I think of Bon Jovi, I think of fun, anthemic songs. I know that not every song is like that, but I think of like Runaway, even Roulette, and of course all the songs on Slippery and New Jersey. I don't want to hear that. This has got a terrible chorus. It sounds like a theme from an 80s cop show. He's trying way too hard to be like a tough guy and like, ooh, like it's gritty and, you know, it's just so tough to live these days. Like, I get it. You're young. You're still kind of finding your way here as a band, but this is just not the groove for the band for me. I just don't like Bon Jovi doing this kind of stuff.
This is not a great song to follow Tokyo Road.
Yeah.
Because you get that little build with the Japanese thing at the beginning of Tokyo Road, then it kicks in. This one you get that really stark guitar at the beginning. You're like, whoa, what,
Yep.
Where's this one going? And I like the crunch of the guitars, but I'm like, I don't know. I think that Tokyo Road ruined this song for me. Following it up,
yeah,
it's because like once you get Tokyo Road, you're kind of hopeful that this album's going to come back, that you're going to have more. I don't know, not so much come back, but have a couple more of those type of songs.
Yep,
and the vocals are good for the chorus, and there's a little tempo change during the solo section that I think is really good. It's not a standout track for me. It's not quite a skipper, but it's damn close.
All right, so Hardest Part of the Night, written by Jon Bon Jovi, the keyboardist David Bryan and Richie Sambora. It was their third single. Technically, it was only released in Europe and made it to number 68 in the UK. It sounds like a guitar riff, and then it sounds like somebody hit a bad chord. Then,
yeah, right,
yeah, like somebody fucked up or something.
Like some kid at Guitar Center, like hit the wrong note, picking up a guitar.
Yeah, and it's a straightforward mid-tempo song. I like the call and answer back and forth, very Def Leppard-like for me. Nice Richie solo, and I think the chorus is catchy as hell. So the one thing I want to say, Tom, is you don't know Bon Jovi, and that's why you are like, that's not Bon Jovi, because you know their their fucking hits, you know their singles. This is Bon Jovi. If you listen to the first couple albums, this is what they do. They have mid-tempo songs that aren't always as fucking happy-go-lucky anthems. They're not an anthem. This isn't Warrant doing
I get it. I mean,
chorus, heavy, happy-go-lucky songs. They're hard rock, mid-tempo.
No, I know. I mean, I said right out of the gate that I'm not a Bon Jovi fan, and I've never owned this album. So all I know is the big hits. So
so when you say this isn't what I want to see from Bon Jovi, this is what Bon Jovi fans want to see. They like this stuff, and this is the type of music that they do.
Which is why I'm not a Bon Jovi. Yeah, right. I'm not a Bon Jovi fan because
we've gotten that point. But my point is on this, it's straightforward. This is no different to me than Price of Love, Only Lonely, King of the Nighttime. King of the Mountain is a little
King of the Nighttime World.
King of the Nighttime World. No, but these songs all fit similar. They're all very same type of songs throughout. Love Lies and other stuff that fit their early stuff. And even some on Slippery When Wet get to be like that.
Yeah.
You either like it or you don't. To me, this is a decent song, not a skipper, but not a fucking, I got to hear this song.
Right.
That's what a lot of these songs are. And this is why I like their first two albums. Because I never found anything to be like, I got to get this fucking thing off. Yet. At least yet. We'll see if that stays the rest of the album. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next track.
Always Run to You. Okay, so we're back to a song here. Do more of this. A cool intro. And it's funny, Zeus, you mentioned High and Dry. This, to me, this is a high and dry riff. When the song kicks in, this sounds like a song from High and Dry. That crunchy riff, the tempo, the kind of the mid-tempo groove. It's got a cool chorus. Again, I've laid the idea that I'm not a Bon Jovi fan. I don't own these albums, so a lot of this is first time hearing. But I'm just that's the only way I can judge these songs. I like these songs that have a little bit of muscle to them, quote unquote. And I think this is one of those songs. They're on this album. And you're right. Hardest Part of the Night, that's a Bon Jovi song. But for me, I like that. Like, this is what I like. Kind of a little bit of grittiness. The keyboards aren't saturating the song to death. It's a good song.
Yeah, I always run to you. That drum intro, it's got that like convoluted feel to it, and you get them little cowbell tings in there too. I think is actually pretty cool.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah. The riff is pretty intense. I think that's a cool part of it. Good like upper mid tempo song.
Yep.
If that makes sense. But the production seems louder on this song.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to it the other day. I had my headphones on, and it's playing. Then like when this comes on, I'm like that. It was noticeably louder for me in my headphones, which I'm not sure if it was just slapped in there or what. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love the gang vocals for the chorus, but I don't like the chorus itself.
Okay.
I just for some reason, and I love the verses. The feel for the verses is absolutely fantastic, and Richie kills it on the solo. Richie absolutely, rips off a really good one here, and there's a really good bridge after the solo too. If you so check that out after the solo, check out the bridge after that. There's in this listen to the leads Richie's playing when the song fades out. I would love to hear, that play out to a, like a hard stop. But this one is, and you're right, Tom. It's more back to okay, let's do more of this.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So always run to you. Jon Bon Jovi and Richie wrote this. I think the riff is a ripoff of "Looks That Kill," but not as hard.
That too.
Yeah. He says it again. He's out on the streets.
Again, everything's out on the streets, dude.
And then on the
homeless?
dark side of town. Like, dude, that's so cliche-ish.
They are from Jersey.
Yeah. Well, and Bruce Springsteen had Darkness on the Edge of Town.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I like the solo as well. For me, the chorus doesn't work as well, Steve. I like the verses much better than the chorus.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
the chorus makes it sound different than the heavier verses part. But another good, decent song, similar to like the other ones, I think. They're all kind of there. They're just Jon Bon Jovi, early Bon Jovi songs. Let's go to the next one.
To the Fire. Although some editions of this had it called I Don't Want to Fall to the Fire. Either way, this is a dumpster fire of a song. And again, the band is reverting back to like, first of all, this intro, is this like from like the Karate Kid Part 2 or like some like Arnold?
No, it's the Bender. It's the Bender on top on Breakfast Club again. That's what it is.
It's that with a little bit of like Asian tinge to it. Like there's a little bit of something going. This
somebody stole it from Breakfast Club.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, the song never goes anywhere. Like this is the song, and it's just awful. It's so funny. We've reviewed over 50 out. This is one of those rare albums where from the highs are so high and so awesome, and the lows are just like you can't get any lower. And it seems like every other song, this is like the ultimate like tidal wave of an album. I don't know what they're trying to do here, but it just doesn't work.
It does not.
Steve,
I really don't know what they're going for here. They have that intense keyboard thing, the tribal kind of drums, the dive bomb that Richie does on the guitar is cool though. I do like that. But I think this is way too much of a keyboard driven song.
Yeah,
this is, and I don't like that. I think the one really cool part is the I don't want to fall, like the layering, how they layer that.
That's kind of cool.
I think that is a kind of a cool part of the song. Not a huge fan of this one, and even the solo on this one kind of falls short for me. I think on this one, this is one of I think probably the least amount that Richie does. It's not it's I don't know, dull, I guess, compared to what you've gotten on the rest of the guitar work on this album. And I think that did Richie say, fuck this, it's too much keyboards and shit, so I'm just gonna play whatever. I don't know, but I'm just this one is And you're right, Tom. It's like you're like, yeah, and then you're like, oh, then yeah, and now you're like, oh.
I don't want to fall in parentheses to the fire. Jon Bon Jovi, the keyboardist David Bryan. I don't know why I say the keyboardist. I think it's meant to be like a slight.
It is a slight. This guy.
Yeah, Richie Sambora. And again, Tom, my mind goes to Bender climbing, sneaking back into the. I don't know why I think of that. The two songs that I think have taken most of the beat in. I don't know, Tom, and mostly, and I'll probably agree, are the two non-guitar led tracks where the guitar isn't
Silent
the
Night and To the Fire. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas the keyboard riff. And I'm like, yeah, no. The verses and chorus, no. The solo isn't even anything special. This is what you would call the definition of a filler fucking track.
Yeah, are they trying to be like the Human League or like Flock of Seagulls here? Like, I don't know what they're doing.
Like, I always say, don't take out a track because somebody might like it. So I don't want to be that hypocrite and say, yeah, this would have been much better if they had 9 songs.
Right.
Because somebody might like this. Or maybe they should have ended with this dud.
Yep.
But it doesn't work. It is. I don't think I've ever heard anything like this in their catalog. It's like a synth fucking throwaway. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
It's a weird. Even the beat, even like the rhythm, the underlying rhythm is not. It's not a beat. It sounds like a theme, like music that you hear in the background of like a TV show or something. It doesn't sound like a song or like a song.
No, doesn't sound like most of their music, which is a guitar driven kind of thing. I don't know. Let's end on the last track.
Secret Dreams. So at least they're kind of ending relatively strong for me. This is interesting though, because we were just talking about the keyboard. So this is a song that kind of, they don't know where to go here, because it's got a good groove. It's got kind of a cool riff. It's got a cool chorus, but those keys, that dun, 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 it's like they can't figure out what the fuck they want to do here. And it's too bad, because I think this has the nucleus of a good song, kind of like a darker song that kind of has a little bit of grit to it. You know, I like the chorus. I like the verses. I think he sounds good. The band sounds good. It's got a cool riff, but the once you hit the chorus, which is kind of cool, the keyboards again, just like it's like Richie Sambora in the keyboards it's like one of those celebrity death matches. Who's going to come out on top? And I don't know if anybody came out on top.
That's the producer's fault.
Oh, absolutely. Agreed. And I credit John for being like, fuck you, this album sucks. Or not that he said that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's definitely the producer's fault.
Yeah. I was glad to hear the crunchy guitars back after the last song.
Yeah.
I like how it kicks in, but this song's got a weird vibe for me. I hate the verses. I don't like the verses at all. But absolutely love the chorus. I think the chorus is fantastic. I think it's really melodic. I think it's great. Got some little cowbell in there, so you gotta throw the cowbell in there every now and then. The solo's really cool how it starts. He starts with kind of like that tapping thing, then it goes melodic, and then you get the shredding at this. So I'm glad Richie got to get that one last kick-ass solo in there at the end of the album, and then it goes back to the chorus. And Tom, I don't mind the keyboards in the chorus, because I think it adds a little bit to the melodicness of it.
Okay.
And not a bad album closer. Just like I listen to this and I'm like, oh, and for a little bit I couldn't think of what was off on this song, and it's the verses. I don't know what else they could have done or whatever, but I love the chorus, but the verses just kill it for me. Decent album ender. And
it is.
I think Zeus said it would have been make it a 9-song album, or put To the Fire at the end, so you can just get up and pick up the needle after Sweet Dreams, not have to listen to Into the Fire, rather than getting up after Always Run to You, skipping To the Fire, and then listening to Secret Dreams at the end.
Yep.
Just at the very end, every single song on this album fades out. Every goddamn song.
That's a great observation. I never connected those dots.
I never picked that shit up. So
I probably never. I'll be honest. I probably never picked it up because I don't think I made it to the end of any song on this album. So
I thought it was the case, and the other day I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back and make sure that every goddamn song fades out.
That's wild. Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know if that's a common thing in that time. I don't pick up on shit like that. It doesn't make a difference if a fade out or a short, hard cut. I don't give a shit.
I feel like a song has a little bit more balls when it's just like a dun 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 and just something like that than just like a fade.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Secret Dreams, written by Jon Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, Tico Torres, and somebody named Bill Grabowski.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Bill.
I love that raw guitar riff.
It's awesome.
It sounds a little different. It's a nice chorus. I'm just wondering what his secret dreams are. And a nice Richie solo. It's a good way to end the album. And again, it goes back to this is typical Jon. I find this stuff to be breakout, come back, hardest part of the night, secret dreams, love lies. They're all very similar type of songs. I like the choruses. I find his music and the melody of all his songs to be catchy with the exception of the ones we've mentioned. And it's a nice way to end the album. So that's 10 tracks. I picked this, so I'll give you my last overview on this thing. So did Bon Jovi get better as – I don't want to give away where I rank this. Did it get better from their first album? I'm not sure. But I think it kept them going and it kept them where they were at. And you can see the blueprints for what's going to come in the future. This album continued to build up some good credentials for them, enough to, they never really struggled. They were, since they came out, were touring with big acts all the time. And by the time really this kind of finished and they come out of the gate with You Give Love a Bad Name, they're ready to tour because they've been touring everywhere with bands that are huge bands, Scorpions, Kiss and stuff. And so this is just continuation of it. The album doesn't have breakaway lovable songs as much as, Wanted Dead or Alive or anything. But to me, this is the melody, the melodic hard rock that I like. Right in my wheelhouse. Good lyrics, good musicianship, fun, easy listening, and something that I could listen to when a teenager and not be scared away or reduced to want to kill myself. I like Bon Jovi personally. I like the band. Most of the members are all pretty good people from what I understand. Likeable band, easy going. This just fits. This is just one of the soundtracks of me growing up as a teenager listening to hard rock music. And that's my pick on it. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have made clear kind of where I stand. Like, I didn't own this. I'm not a big Bon Jovi fan, so I went into this with fresh ears. I didn't know what to expect. It's just an uneven album. By a band that I don't follow. I mean, there's some really good songs on here that I really had a good time listening to. There were a couple other songs where, anytime you listen to something new, it takes a while. Sometimes you don't fall in love with it right away. But yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Zeus. I don't think either one of us will get to our rankings later on about whether, like you said, whether or not did they improve upon their debut. I think that'll be an interesting discussion that me and you will have later on. But yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So I guess, I don't know, like, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. And for me, I don't, there's some really fun stuff on here, but there's stuff that like Tom said, you get the oh, and then you get the I think there's more fun stuff on the first album, and definitely like way more on, Slippery When Wet and going forward up. And I'll tell you what, I enjoy pretty much every Bon Jovi album up until about 2000 when they put out Crush. But I do like that, in this one, you get glimpses of what you're going to get on, Slippery When Wet in New Jersey, what's coming down the road. And I think a huge thing of this is one of these guys were shot from, it's their first tour. So they're going from playing some clubs to playing, arenas, and having that grind in the tour and touring the world and going to Japan and all that stuff. So, they're pretty much shot when they're writing and recording this album. But I think a lot of this differentness falls on the producer on this one, and I think, Tom, you read the thing. They said that they were shot and they pretty much, this producer produced the Talking Heads and stuff. But I mean, I don't hear really any Talking Heads in this album, which is not a bad thing for me. But
thank God,
and just think of what you can always have the what if scenarios. Like, what if they had Bruce Fairbairn for this album, or what if Mutt Lange was available and they were able to get him. Like, it would be interesting to see what could happen in that type of scenario. But I think it's a good one. Like I said, that you just get a glimpse of stuff that you're going to get down the road.
Curious for you, Steve, since we're not going to get you for later on, debut or this?
I'll take the debut. There's more on the debut that I enjoy, and there's I'm trying to think. There might be one skipper on the debut for me off the top of my head, but there's more that are close to skippers on 7800 Degrees, and I love the production way more on the first one too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, this is where we pick the songs. Top 10. I'll go first, Tom, then Steve. All right. Number 10 for me is 100% To the Fire.
Woo. Okay. Yeah, without a doubt, Silent Night.
I'll go To the Fire.
9, Silent Night.
9, To the Fire.
I will go Silent Night for number 9.
Number 8. King of the Mountain.
Same. King of the Mountain, number 8.
Same.
Wow, yeah. This is a pretty predictable ranking here, yeah.
Yeah, for you guys. Now, for me, I honestly could change the next 4 songs 100% because they all sound kind of the same. Always Run to You is 7 for me.
Oh, wow, okay. Price of Love is 7 for me.
I'm going to go Always Run to You for number 7.
So 6 for me is Hardest Part of the Night.
That's also my 6.
We're in lockstep here.
Wow, this is interesting.
5 for me, Secret Dreams.
5 for me is Only Lonely.
I'm Only Lonely for number 5.
Okay.
4 for me, Price of Love.
4 for me is Secret Dreams.
I'm going Secret Dreams, number 4.
Okay.
3 for me, Only Lonely.
3 for me is Always Run to You.
I have Price of Love for number 3.
Okay.
2 for me is Tokyo Road.
I have a feeling we're both going to do something unique here and have the same top 2 songs. Number 2 is also Tokyo Road for me.
I'm going number 2, In and Out of Love.
Oh, Steve, you messed it up.
So number 1 for me is In and Out of Love.
Same for me. And
Tokyo
Steve's
Road.
Yep, Steve's got Tokyo Road. Nice.
I could easily have switched those two.
Me too.
Well, but
yeah, I agree.
I think that it's just after Silent Night.
Yeah.
it
So that's
makes
funny.
it better.
That's funny. We both had the same bottom 3 songs, and we both had the same top 2. So I kind of what we said. The song is top heavy and bottom heavy, and then there's kind of like, where do you stand with the middle of the record? Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the record, everybody could get moved with a different song more than the other.
Right.
Honestly,
Right.
I could easily just throw in a bag and switch them up.
Yep.
But the top 2 and even 3, I like Only Lonely a lot, but top 2 are definitely the top 2.
Yep.
So, Steve, before we go, we need to find out this important piece of information. That's right, buddy. What makes you rock hard?
All right. I was a couple ways I was going to go with this, but I'm going to go with something a little different. Besides listening to music all the time and stuff like that, I love to read. I love like books with action and stuff, like Tom Clancy stuff and like the Gray Man series and stuff like that. And I just found a new series within the last couple months, and there's 4 books out so far in the series, and I've read the first 2. And the author is Taylor Moore, and the first book is called Downrange. The next book is Firestorm, and then there's Ricochet and Cold Trail. It's kind of it's like the action in it is crazy good, like really well written. But there's also the underlying story with the main character and his family and what they go through with. I won't give anything away if anybody wants to check it out, but it's worth the read. They're not long books. It's not like a Tom Clancy book like The Bear and the Dragon, like 1,500 pages or anything like that. But it's a quick read and very good, very well written, and I can't wait to get to the other one. So that does it for me on this one.
Nice.
What's the guy's name again?
Taylor Moore.
Taylor Moore Books.
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, true crime shows and documentaries are everywhere. Some of them are really bad and really cheesy and really corny. Some of them are very well made. There's a series on Netflix called Monster. And the first one they did was on Jeffrey Dahmer, which was incredible. And these aren't like, these are like dramatizations, the mini series. So they're extremely well made. And the most recent one is called Monsters, plural, and it's about the Menendez brothers. 9 episodes. I knew nothing about these guys because this happened right around high school, college, right around college. All I knew about that story when it broke was it was 2 rich white kids who killed their parents. I didn't know anything about it. This fucking series is incredible. The 2 kids who play Lyle and Eric Menendez, Javier Bardem plays the father, which I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they got him. Chloe Savini plays the mom. It is incredible. And another thing I never knew was that while these guys were in prison awaiting trial, the OJ's Bronco race was going on at the same time, and OJ was in prison with them at the same time. Like I never knew all that happened at the same time. It is a riveting story. I'll tell you right now, you still don't know what actually happened, and it's interesting that Netflix put this in the Monsters series. Because Jeffrey Dahmer is a straight up monster. The next one is about Ed Gein, who is the definition of a monster. The guy is an absolute monster. And they have Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy portraying him. So I'm not defending the Menendez brothers, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I put them in the same category as Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer. But it's a brilliant, brilliant series.
I watched that. That was crazy. And I want to say, Tom, that maybe that they put them in the monsters thing because depending on who you believe, are they the monsters or are the parents the monsters?
Great point. That's a great point, Steve.
Fantastic series though. When they showed the shootings, I was like, holy shit.
Oh my God. Yeah. Real
crazy.
Wild. Yep.
All right. The Menendez brothers. I think they might be getting out too, from what I understand.
Yeah, the new DA, the new DA is going to be reviewing his case in December.
Oh, really?
Fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's fucked up.
Yep.
All right, mine is apropos. I decided I would talk about, and I've had this for a while. Thank you, good night. The Bon Jovi story. So I quoted it a little bit. Steve quoted it a little bit. It's very good. 4 episodes. New Jersey versus everybody. Nowhere to Everywhere, Brother in Arms, legendary. It is so cool how they set this up because halfway through when they get through Jersey tour, you're on seat and you just finished episode 2. You're like, what the fuck is the rest going to be? The fucking country Bon Jovi? But there's really 3 main, storylines going on throughout this story. The first one is Bon Jovi's rise to becoming the superstar that they are, right? The second one is basically the ongoing trauma with his voice. If you're a Kiss tard like we all are, you watch this shit. It's fascinating as hell. The stuff that he keeps talking about, I wonder how Paul can justify himself when he watches this and how John. I mean, this is throughout the documentary. They'll do flashbacks and they start from 22 when he starts really having his voice problems. Like all the shit he's doing, besides like the exercises, the fucking medicine, the vitamins, the crazy shit, then the surgeries, all to get him to a point where he's like, I don't want to be 80% of what I was at 100. I won't do it. I give a fuck about my legacy. It's throughout the whole documentary, all 4 episodes, they're talking about, can he get back? Can he do it? And then the third one is fascinating because it's that rising tension between him and Richie. And they show him from the beginning where they're like New Jersey people, really more apt to follow the E Street Band in Asbury Park artists than what's going on in LA. They just kind of fell into it. And then you can see later on, because Bruce is in this, how much of an influence he's on the latter part of Bon Jovi, this whole Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi fucking relationship and stuff. But that last part between him and Richie, it's so fucking fascinating. And like they lead up to it on episode 1. And it's like, John gets the record contract. And what's great is you see this person who didn't just become like lucky or he had some talent, unknown talent. This is like the reason he's successful. It's the Paul Stanley of just a generation later. This is the hardest working fucking person you'll ever find. Yeah. All he did was fucking want to be in the music industry, getting jobs when he was like 15 years old, working at the record, being a gopher, listening to other bands, watching bands, just, hey, can I be in the studio, and learning how to do shit. And like, all right, so that's how he makes the sound. That's how he gets a record. That's how you write songs. And then he finds Richie, our buddy Desmond's in it quite often.
Yep.
It's a fascinating look. And then they also end on the last part of it. It's like, yeah, the tour's ready. Richie's not coming. Now what? What do you mean he's not coming? It's a lot of fun. It's not as to me, which I think is probably the greatest rock documentary, is the Eagles one, where there's fucking tension galore and crazy stories. It just doesn't end. There's some lulls in here. Do I really need to see John, all these medical things and all the stuff he's talking about? Or there's a lot of, the newer band members and the newer stuff. But I did learn a bunch of stuff about the band and their history and the relationship between each other. And they all have a part. And I'll give him credit. Just like the Eagles, he let him speak. He didn't hold anybody back. He let Richie speak unfettered, say what you fucking want. He let all the members speak, okay, just like the Eagles did. I can never imagine Kiss doing that.
No.
Never.
Nope, not in a million years.
Nope.
Another guy who's Kiss-related, very prominent, Doc is in this a lot. And there's some shots
Doc loves
against
being
him.
in documentaries.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and there's some shots against him. And there's some shit in there. I'm like, what happened with him? Yeah, besides looking like Sam Kinison throughout the whole fucking early 80s, he's not like, he wasn't a very nice person. He's got some fucking shady shit.
Yep.
Documentary's fascinating. Each episode's about an hour and 15. 4-part series. Watch it.
Nice. Cool.
Steve, where can people find you, buddy?
All right. First of all, thank you guys for having me on here. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on the album review crew, and I'm glad we picked this album too because it's like kind of like a controversial album for them. For the band. The band does you don't really get to hear if the rest of the guys in the band like it or not because they did no one wants to hear from Tico Torres what he thinks about 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit, but and like we did our rankings, like and Tom, you said it's top heavy, just but it does hit my turntable at least like once a year. So it's not one that just collects dust forever. And thank you for having me on once again. And you can check out the Hotter Than Hell podcast. We have an episode out every Friday. We will be hitting our 400th episode.
Wow.
Early next year.
Awesome.
And congratulations to you guys on your milestone as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Wow.
And I just had Zeus on a couple weeks. We recorded a couple weeks ago, and that'll be out probably next week from when this comes out. And I'm having Tom come on very shortly too. And I'll get together with you on that, Tom. But check out Hotter Than Hell. We have an episode. It comes out every Friday at noon. And check us out. We do everything hard rock and metal. And I do it with my co-host BC and BB. And my son Dylan is on the podcast, and he produces it. And it's we have a lot of fun. And the thing I like about it, and I always say that I like the most about it, is that we're all in the same room when we record. And
that's awesome. Yes.
It's a lot of fun. So check us out.
Awesome.
Happy 30th to your son.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
He turned 30. And, if you would have told me I would have a 30-year-old son at some point, I said, you're full of shit. It's crazy. And he's a awesome young man. And
who, unfortunately, you guys give shit to because he likes music later than you guys do. And it's always a lot of fun listening to you guys bicker. But then again, one of you guys is the big Lizzie Borden fan. So what do you expect?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got their thing. And because I like Dylan on there, too, because he brings that younger point of view. Yep. Like he'll bring in the My Chemical Romance and the Foo Fighters and Green Day the
Foo Fighters, from 94.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
But
these new young artists today.
That's awesome.
But we love having you, Steve. You're always a pleasure, man. I think you're one of the few people we actually, Tom and I, both like. So
yeah, that's a rarity. That's a rarity these days.
You have no idea, Steve, how rare that is that you're in the podcast community and we both like you.
Well, I appreciate it. I like
Steve,
you guys too.
Steve, thanks so much, man. We love you. Love the show. Love the guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a blast to hang out. So thanks, buddy.
Anytime, guys.
Tom, that was the great Steve Wright. We still have some work to do here. We have to rank this album against the rest of the ARC albums. So let's start with album covers first.
Okay. Right now, album covers, my top 5 is at number 5, Rage Against the Machine, then Blizzard of Oz, Purple Rain, Master of Puppets, Diary of a Madman. This covers, it's not terrible. It's, it's of the time. It's fine. It's his face. I don't know, whatever. It's fine. I'll kind of throw it. I'll throw this at number 35. I'm going to put it right below Slave to the Grind, right above Hailstorm.
In the photo of Rocky Dennis there.
Oh, Jesus.
That guy looked like Rocky Dennis. All right. So 7,800 Fahrenheit for you is at 35. The cover, that is.
Yes.
Sure. For me, Tom, I have top 5. Peace of Mind is 5. Diary of a Madman 4. 3. Appetite. 2. Blizzard of Oz. 1. Hotel California. So I'm not a fan of this cover. I don't hate it. I don't know. I'll put it. You know what? I'll do the same. I'll go with 35.
Okay.
7,800 Fahrenheit. I'll put it at 35. All right. Let's go to the album itself and give us your top 5.
All right. Top 5. Number 5 is Journey Escape. Then Shout at the Devil, Purple Rain, Moving Pictures, Master of Puppets. I'm going to be honest with you. I struggled with this because it's Zeus's pick, although he's, we don't agree on everything, obviously. When we did the debut album, I did not really like that. I had that ranked 3rd from the bottom of our rankings. And I know we talked to Steve about where he compares this to, 7800 Fahrenheit, the debut, which is better. I'm going to be honest with you, Zeus, and I'm interested to see if you agree. I think the debut album blows this away. I truly think the debut album, I think between songs like Runaway and Roulette and Shot Through the Heart and even some of the cheesy stuff like She Don't Know Me, I just feel like it's I think for me, time has been kind to that album. I think when I listened to it, I didn't really like it that much, but I think it's better than 7800 Fahrenheit, which means 7800 Fahrenheit doesn't have much room to grow here. So I'm sorry. I do not do this with any ounce of pleasure, Zeus. I'm putting 7800 Fahrenheit at the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. I'm sorry. I just
you don't have to apologize. That's how you feel about the album.
Well, because
you think I feel bad that I have moving pictures and Winger last.
Well, look what the Cat Dragged In has been last for years.
And it was Heat 2 above that. You like Heat 2 better than fucking name me a song on Heat 2 that you like.
I can't.
So how the fuck is it better than at least
why?
You like In and Out of Love?
It's a great road. It's a great point. It's a great point. We say this all the time. When we rank these albums, we rank them because we've been listening to these albums for a month. I guarantee you in like 3 years, I'm probably going to feel the same way about 7800 Fahrenheit that I feel now about the Bon Jovi debut.
Which goes back to we need to fucking revise these things. Because I say the same thing because you fixate on something.
That's right.
And then you go, well, it's not better than this. But then you're like, well, wait a minute. I got like 5 other albums that I have that better. So now I got to put it underneath that because you can't. If you like the debut album better, you can't put it above it.
No. And I know we say this every month. It's hilarious. We keep having the same conversation because for me, it's kind of like when we do if we do like Kiss albums or like song rankings, like we're ranking them like in real time. So November 25th, 2024, I have this last.
If we listen to each of these albums, like you could probably do 2 a day, and you started ranking these, there's no way our rankings would be the same.
Dude, one of my most embarrassing rankings that I have is Appetite for Destruction at 23. How? That's terrible. But anyways.
Yeah. All right. My top 5, Pyromania, Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California, Automatic for the People. The big question is this better than the debut? It is not. It is not. I don't have anything.
All three of us agree.
It's not better than debut, but it does have a couple standout big tracks, and it does kind of follow in Bon Jovi the same kind of theme. So where am I putting this?
You have more room than I do.
Yeah, but I mean, this is an album that I've been listening to since I was a kid.
Right.
So I'm going to go with 27. I'll put it just above Vision Quest.
Okay. So I'll tell you one thing.
That is a little high for me, I think, but
yeah. One thing I learned about this
feelings.
Yeah. I mean, I said this when we started talking about it. Like I automatically assumed that this was going to be way closer to Slippery When Wet than it was to their debut because I heard In and Out of Love. And I'm like, okay, this sounds like, but then listen to the album, I'm like, whoops. I'm like, these guys, in my opinion, it sounds like we all agree, took a step back on this album.
I'm not a fan of Silent Night. I never was. But as I said earlier in the episode, like Bon Jovi's ballads are very hit and miss. There are a bunch I do not like. And
To the Fire is not good.
No, it's not a good song. And some of them are I'm just so used to them and I've played them. And look, if we all, Asylum's so good. Oh God, dude, there's Radar for Love and Love's a Deadly Weapon on those albums.
And it's similar.
So, I mean,
it's similar to when you ranked Moving Pictures last. A, you don't like Rush. B, you knew some of the popular songs on that. But when you put that last, I figured that. I figured it would be near the bottom or last because it's not your thing. You know what I mean?
But there's no way I wouldn't rather hear Tom Sawyer over anything on Heat.
I know. I know.
I don't know how I had that up higher.
I don't either.
And OU 812 is below that.
I know, and
What the fuck is that? Now, it's not that good of a Van Halen album, but it's still got a few good songs on it.
It still has Eddie Van Halen on it. I mean, it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, like, I couldn't tell you, other than Hail to the King, how that sounds. Black Tiger? What the fuck is on that album that I would remember? I know there's a good song on it that I like called Forever. I like Smooth Up In Your Bullet Boys, but
I know.
What the fuck? How are these albums up there?
We might have to like, we got some input from our buddy Backpack Brad from the Slamfest podcast. He's like, maybe we like tier rank them, like do like some, or like something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, like this is in the soft rock. This is in the
80s
rock.
Pop metal. This is in the 70s classic rock. I don't know.
Yeah,
because it's not fair to have Rod Stewart in the same ranking as like Metallica.
Like Purple Rain. Those are pop songs.
Right, exactly. And you're ranking them up against fucking Great White. Like it's hard.
So yeah, we definitely need to make some changes. It is what it is.
I agree. Because this is we're at 58 albums here now. I mean, this is getting like out of control.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something that's just not going to work if we continue like this. It just doesn't make sense.
I agree.
So that being the case, let's move on. Tom, where can people find us?
Yeah, our website, shoutoutloudcast.com. If for some reason this is your first time hearing us, we are an all Kiss podcast that drop Kiss-related episodes every Saturday. We do these album review crew episodes once a month where we pick a non-Kiss album and pick it apart with a third party. But yeah, go to shoutoutloudcast.com that you can find all of our information about our Shout Out Loudcast episodes, Dorm Damage, Album Review Crew, Zeppelin Chronicles. You can find all of our links to all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, et cetera, et cetera. And you can always shoot us an email at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And finally, we're always proud to say that we are a member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
And Tom, what we like to do is end on famous last words. You got any?
Unfortunately, I do. After the smoke clears, when it's down to you and I, when the sun appears, and there's nothing left but goodbyes. Silent night.
I thought you were going to go, never say goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good ballad. I like that one.
That was much better than Silent Night.
And I like I'll be there for you.
It would have been better if it was Silent Night, Deadly Night, like the classic 80s horror movie.
Living in Sin, Bed of Roses, always just.
Yeah, those are bad. Those are bad.
They're very popular. People like them. I don't.
Yeah.
Running Wild. When me and my boys hit the streets.
Oh my God.
Right on time. She's here to make my night complete. Oh.
Settle the fuck down, Jon Bon Jovi.
Who are you with your boys? Oh, I got Tico. I got the keyboard guy.
Tico.
I got a 5'1" little heavy male Alec John Such, whatever his name is.
I got Tico. He was king of the streets.
Oh, God. Steve Wright from the Potter Than Hell podcast. Tom, Loudcasters, Bon Jovi tards. Thank you.
Steve Wright, love you, brother. Thanks so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun on this one, as we do with every ARC episode. Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you. And again, apologies for ranking this album so low.
Dude, stop saying that. I'm going to have fucking people like have a eulogy for me.
All right.
Peace out, Girl Scout.